Alright guys, this is the lecture for Module 13. In this lecture we are going to cover, we're still going to be talking about unemployment, except we're going to look at more specifically the different types of unemployment and their causes and the factors that determine the natural rate of unemployment. So the last module was all about looking at the labor force, and then more specifically in this module we're going to be looking at unemployment. All right, it's very important that we understand unemployment because it has such a large impact on our economy. All right, now workers who spend time looking for employment are engaged in a job search. All right, now that's important to know because you don't just walk in and get a job, right? You have to actually go out, see who's hiring, apply to jobs, interview. It takes time. All right, now there's a few different types of unemployment. The first kind that we're going to learn about is called frictional unemployment, and that is unemployment which is due to the time workers spend in a job search. So let's say you graduate from college and it takes you 2 months to find a full-time job, and in the meantime you're applying to different places, going on interviews and stuff, and you finally get it. Well, those 2 months, if you weren't working, you were frictionally unemployed. All right, this also happens to people who might quit their job and then apply to other jobs and then get hired. Maybe they take a few weeks off or a couple months off while they look for a new job. All right, but that's frictional unemployment. Structural unemployment is unemployment that results when there are more people seeking jobs in the labor market than there are jobs available at the current wage. All right, so this picture here is actually was taken by someone during the last recession because there was a lot of construction workers that needed jobs, but there wasn't a lot of paid opportunities, so they were structurally unemployed because there weren't enough jobs to fill that demand. Now here's just different types of unemployment, or the nature of unemployed people between 2000 and 2010. Now you can see here in 2000 there were the economy was doing pretty well, and so we had most of our unemployed were less than 5 weeks. However, 2010 we were just coming out of the Great Recession, and so we had a lot of people that had been unemployed for 27 weeks and over, so it was long term. Again, that just kind of shows you how bad that last recession was there. All right, structural unemployment, we'll just skip over this, going into more detail on that. There are a few causes of structural unemployment. That's what you're going to write. These in red here, you're going to write on the causes of structural unemployment. So minimum wages and unions can cause structural unemployment because what you do with the minimum wage is you raise the wage rate, and it causes businesses to not be able to afford to hire people. All right, now that's if it's an effective minimum wage. People can argue, and I probably would myself, that $7.25 is too low to actually live on, so it's not really an effective minimum wage. But let's say the minimum wage was like $20 an hour. Well, now you're going to have a lot of people looking for work that weren't previously, and you're going to have businesses that can't afford to hire them, so there will be kind of that structural unemployment there. Unions can cause structural unemployment because what they do is they actually will raise the wages of the workers, which is a good thing for those workers, but by doing that, that business can hire fewer employees, and those employees are much more likely to keep that job or to hold out if they lose it to find another union-paid job. Other causes of structural unemployment are going to be efficiency wages, and that's just a fancy word for saying that basically wages employers set above the equilibrium wage rate as an incentive for better performance. So let's say you work at, I don't know, Jimmy John's, right? And a regular, normal wage for working at a place like that, let's just say it's like $9 an hour. All right, that's like what you would expect to make working at a place like that. Maybe, I don't know. It's been a while since I've worked in a job like that. However, let's say that Jimmy John's is looking to improve their employees that they have, and so they offer people $12 per hour. Well, that $3 difference, they're going to get a lot more people to apply, right? Because word gets out that they pay pretty well, but they're not going to be able to hire everybody that wants the job. All right, so that's going to cause some structural unemployment there. The other thing is side effects of government policies. Public policies designed to help workers who lose their jobs can lead to structural unemployment because it gives people an incentive to hold out until they can find a better fit for a job. So that's going to be things like unemployment benefits. That's why certain European countries have a much higher natural rate of unemployment than the United States, because they actually have pretty generous unemployment benefits for people who lose their jobs. Whereas here we have some unemployment benefits, but they don't last very long, and they don't, come close to covering what you made before when you had your job. Now, the natural rate of unemployment is the normal unemployment rate around which the actual unemployment rate fluctuates. The natural rate of unemployment in the United States is roughly, oh, that's bad. %5. All right, so that's about the natural rate. Now it'll change over time, but currently that's generally what economists will guess the natural rate of unemployment is. So you would write that there under the current natural rate. The natural rate of unemployment is the unemployment rate that arises from the effects of frictional plus structural unemployment. All right, so that's the formula that you would write down. All right, frictional plus structural is going to equal the natural rate. Cyclical unemployment, all right, is a deviation in the actual rate from the natural rate. So let's say that the natural rate is 5%, but the actual unemployment rate is 9%. Well, we would say that our cyclical would be 4%. All right, that's the number of people that are unemployed due to a recession. All right. So the natural rate of unemployment, again, is frictional plus structural unemployment. The actual unemployment rate is the natural unemployment plus cyclical unemployment. All right, now, factors that affect the natural rate of unemployment include changes in labor force characteristics, changes in labor market institutions, and changes in government policies. All right, so if we have, we'll go into more detail in class over this stuff, but let's say that the United States government makes unemployment benefits more generous. Well, that's going to lead to a higher natural rate of unemployment. All right, let's say that unions become more powerful in the United States. Well, that's going to lead to a difference in the natural rate of unemployment because people are going to be willing to wait for those union-paid jobs. Here's a list of, or it kind of shows you what the natural rate of unemployment is. Again, notice how Spain and Greece, all right, Estonia, Poland, they all have higher natural rates of unemployment. Portugal, and that's because they have, again, more generous government benefits to people who are unemployed. Here's another graph that kind of shows you the changes in the makeup of the U.S. labor force. So as you can see from 1948 to today, women make up a much larger share of the labor force. People under 25, not as much. All right, and you notice it kind of goes down a little bit going into the 1950s. Because you had, think about it. When we came back from World War II, you had a lot of people going into college and different things funded by the GI Bill. Then the 60s, it kind of picks up a little bit, probably due to the increase in factory work and those blue-collar jobs. Then as those jobs start disappearing and more people have to go to college in order to get advanced degrees, in order to get jobs, that starts going down again. So people are staying in school longer and then coming out and getting jobs. So it's just kind of interesting, I think, to look at that and to think about what causes that change. All right. Well, that's it for this lecture. I will see you guys back in class soon.